Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello. How's everything going over in Barovia?
Busy, but okay, I guess.
Busy? Busier than things are going at Standing Stone, I guess.
Yes, apparently, and you'll see why in just a minute.
Yeah. And also, welcome our guest for tonight. Please welcome Patrick from DDOCast.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming. So now let's begin with the game news.
Crickets.
Been moving right along.
Crickets, tumbleweeds, crickets. Yeah. That's it, folks. That's the game news. We just said game news. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, yes.
We gotta be getting some news soon, you would think.
Right. It was a short week at Standing Stone Games, so therefore they were not able to get out a Chronicle, which didn't exactly help on what was otherwise a light news week.
Exactly.
But we still have sales.
We do. We have 20% off Slayer Boost, Loot Boost, and Treasure Hunter Elixirs in the shared storage, all at 20% off in the store. We also still have Summer Sales Week going on. It is week 2 of that. You can get a +3 Tome of Fate for 35% off in the store, 50% off the Colossal Ingredient Bag, and the Haunted Halls of Evening Star quest pack, and 75% off the Half Orc Race. So,
and what quests are included in the Haunted Halls of Evening Star pack?
That's it.
Haunted Halls of Evening
The
Star.
Haunted Halls of Evening Star.
Oh,
Which
That would
it
be
has
it.
3 versions, so it's kind of like having 3 quests.
3 versions?
Well, there's the normal version, and then there's the extended version, and then there's the commentary version, which is the extended version, except the DM, the DM work is Ed Greenwood giving like different things about the dungeon. So it's not like the normal DM script. It's a different one, but he talks about like behind the scenes stuff when he was creating the dungeon and stuff like that.
What level is this?
26.
26. So there isn't a heroic version?
But let me tell you, this pack is it's one of the best quests in the game. It's not as run as some others, but it's a really great, fantastic quest. The commentary alone is worth your money.
All right. Then when you first said the regular edition, the extended edition, and the commentary edition, I thought you were starting to go into the realm of jokes. It sounded like some of this, like a DVD.
No, there's really 3 different versions of
Okay.
You can actually, in the regular version, you can do most of the optionals that you would presumably do in the extended version. They just have different finish points is really the way it works. And I think you actually have someone in the party that has done the standard edition to unlock the other 2. But the nice thing is you can get like first time bonuses for XP in all 3 of them. You don't get any more favor, but the XP bonuses you can get first time for all 3.
I am so looking forward to running that because I love the pen and paper module. So I just...
You
and
still
I hear
run it?
No, I don't have a character high enough yet.
Be careful which doors you open.
I wondered if they stayed true to the pen and paper, but apparently they have.
I never played the module, and
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
no. And the first time I went in there, within 5 minutes, I opened a door and died.
Oh, one of those.
That's the Haunted Halls. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very, very tricksy. So, yeah. So if you don't have that yet, great time to pick it up at 50% off. And we do have our free sample of the week, which runs through July 13th. That will get you the White Spell Point Potion. You'll get 10 potions when you use the coupon code MOREPOW. MOREPOW.
Before you move on from sales,
Sure.
I want to plug the shared storage a little bit. I don't think it's the item storage, but the collectible bank, whatever they call it now. That's actually really way more useful than most people realize, because you can not only put just anything that goes in your ingredient bag in there that's not bound to character, but you can put hirelings in there. You can put augments in there. So it's really useful as a storage space, and you don't need too many of them because they come with like 250 slots per. I think I bought like 2 or 3 of them and then went back and reconsolidated everything because they changed like the stack size and some of that stuff. But I've got like 300 empty spaces in there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think I've got like 700 stacks of stuff in this thing. But now, granted, I've been playing for a long time and I haven't really thrown any of that stuff away for the entire time. But it is really useful. You can also craft from it. Most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't. You have to go pull stuff out. But it's actually a lot more useful than... It's not just like the crafting stuff that you can put in there. Being able to put augments and hirelings in there.
Yeah, I didn't realize augments went in there, too.
Yeah, they do.
That's kind of nice.
Jeweler's toolkits go in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have, in fact, lost the cleric that comes with the starting pack because I forgot that I put it in there. And the same thing happened with the Jeweler's toolkits because I found out I'd had it for a while before I realized that you can put stuff in there. So you can put a lot of stuff in there, and it's pretty handy.
All right.
And it's a lot better than the colossal ingredient bag because those bags are bound to character usually. So.
Okay, well, then, instead of our normal players news section, we will head into our main topic for that, and that is to have Patrick discuss what is going on in DDOCast and in your gaming.
Not as much as usual because I've been really super busy the last 2 months, but that's basically over. So there'll be more stuff happening. DDOCast should be back tomorrow, so that's where it used to be a permadeath group. It's not anymore, but we still do some kind of silly things about challenged relative to our power level. Usually we're good for about 1 wipe a week.
1 wipe a week.
Generally.
And if you have not watched it yet, you have to watch it. It is so enjoyable to watch because they have so much fun, and you can tell they're just having a blast playing. And it's just, I highly recommend to everybody, watch it, just watch it.
I think the permadeath ones were a little bit more entertaining, just from the standpoint that we had a little bit, we all kind of knew each other going in, so there's a little bit more chemistry built up there. And we were doing permadeath, and we were basically following every rule you shouldn't do in permadeath.
Yeah, exactly. It was the oddest permadeath you will ever see. I will put it that way.
Oddest permadeath.
I mean, usually we're going kind of faster than most groups would dare. We were usually good for at least once a day or once a session episode where I would be off by myself and everyone else would go the other direction. I'm almost sure that they were intentionally doing that.
Okay.
So it was, but now we have a mostly new group of folks, and hopefully we'll get them most if not all of them back. But yeah, we're leveling up some other characters. Again, it's kind of characters that don't have a lot of investment in them. So, and we're still running. We're challenging ourselves. I mean, we've been running Reaper mostly. So
Reaper mostly.
And what skull level are you doing?
We're not usually going too crazy. We did hop in on Waterworks Part 1 on 10 skulls at level 8 just for kicks. And we got to the first door. We did manage to open the first door, so that was somewhat of a win. But usually we're doing like 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how many people we have.
Well, now I know why they call it DDOCast.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're generally actively trying to kill ourselves without actively trying to kill ourselves, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, I think I got your meaning. Well, going into Reaper mode on a permadeath character is...
Well, we're not permadeath anymore.
Oh.
The problem was permadeath didn't really complement our playstyle very well. And we spent a lot of time in Korthos and low-level quests because we were starting over.
Yeah, I guess you would.
So, yeah, it was... We kind of ended up fudging the rules here and there to try and play different content for one, so we weren't playing the same content the whole time, and to give a little bit more variety, which is also kind of one of the reasons why we decided we weren't going to do permadeath, but it's almost a rule that we have to do Reaper at this point, so we're still definitely challenging ourselves. Like I said, we're usually good for about one party wipe a week. So.
But it's entertaining to watch. That's all that matters.
I hope so. That's kind of the goal.
And you can really tell that you guys are having a lot of fun when you're doing it too. So that really shows.
I think it helps that we're not playing our normal characters. They're kind of throwaway characters.
Right. Yeah.
So the gloves come off. It's like, okay, we're going to play for an hour to an hour and a half, and we're just dedicating this time to messing around. We're not trying to actively accomplish anything. There's no like real major goals we're trying to accomplish. So if we don't actually complete any quests, then that's okay.
Okay.
So I see you started the scavenger hunt up again too, which you did last year, which I think was a big rousing success. So you want to talk about this year's version?
Well, I think it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years already?
Yeah, if you can believe it. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago, not last year.
It just seems like it was last year you did that, but...
Yeah,
like I said on the show last week, it's an awesome idea, and God bless you for doing it, because the paperwork and the clerical stuff in the back end that would be involved in that just makes me shiver to even think about. So bless you, sir, for even doing it.
Well, see, I learned a few things from the first time I did it. Because the first time there was one of the things was take a picture of a waterfall, which I didn't realize at the time. But there's a lot of things that people kind of like. Is this a waterfall? Is this a waterfall? Particularly the Red Fens. There's a lot of like kind of more rapids than waterfalls. It's a lot more of a judgment call on some of those things. And there were some people that I think sent in like 40 or 50 pictures of waterfalls, not all of which I counted. So I kind of put more limits on things this time around. Almost everything has a limit, even if it's kind of artificial. Like, there's actually not a hard limit on completing how many puzzles you can complete. But, I mean, there's only so many puzzles in the game, right? So, but the basic thing here is there's a big, giant list of things that you can take pictures to say that you've done them or you found them, and you get points. And at the end, they tally up all the points, and there's prizes including some autos boxes, some point codes, I don't know what you were reading because it clearly says DDO points in the post that I have up here. So I'm not sure what you were reading last week. It's totally says DDO points. That's what but yeah, so it's and it goes until Labor Day for the Americans. For those of you who don't know when Labor Day is, it's the first Monday in September. And so it's meant to be low pressure. Like, you've got plenty of time to do some of this stuff. Some of these are ridiculously easy. Some of them are a little harder, and you may need to be a little creative in how you're going to do some of them. I'm still waiting to see what the most number of wolves people can find dancing. So, I mean, it could be pretty big, but you could also, like, some of these, there's a lot of different ways you could do them, which is kind of part of the point. So, I hope people have a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd say it was a big success last time, but it was successful. There were a lot of people that took part in it, had fun doing it. So
how did you originally come up with the idea to do this?
Oh, man. I don't know. I think I wanted to do something that was kind of fun. Scavenger hunts were kind of a thing. There's also a bit of it's like a challenge to get people to do some different things, I guess you could say. So, like last time there were some quests that if you completed them on and you didn't die in a certain level range, you got I had some quests that I wanted you to do for speed. I kind of went in a different direction this time, although I was tempted to put to see who could do speed runs of Tomb of the Tormented, but I don't think that would be fun for most people. So
that's just evil.
I mean, it's an interesting challenge to do for speed, right?
I'm gonna say I like the challenge of it, but that's just evil.
I like the Tomb of the Tormented.
Oh God! Oh, no.
It's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah,
by the way, it's a maze, not a puzzle, so that doesn't work. Someone was asking me about the Crucible. I know the Crucible is there are puzzles in the Crucible. The maze in the Crucible is a maze, not a puzzle.
But is the maze a type of puzzle?
It's a maze.
Well,
I gotta draw lines arbitrarily.
I'm gonna say I don't think Pine Leaf is gonna stand for this.
Yeah. It's just that I know that someone who writes mazes thinks of it as a type of puzzle. That's why.
Well, my apologies to him, but not the intent of this. I mean, it's a difference of 1 point. But yeah, so I did learn a few things in the bookkeeping. So there's a lot more limits on what you can do, how many you can get, right? I was amazed last time there was one of them was how many soul stones can you get in one screenshot? And someone got over 50 in a screenshot through some trickery and hackery. This time you have to actually have them in your...
Gonna say, now how is that? I'm trying to think how that's even possible.
It's so you know how if you might sometimes find your own soul stone,
right? Yeah.
DC at the right time, whatever. Basically, he did that.
Oh, okay, all right, I see.
And I think he even made them spell something, although it was really hard to get to read it from the picture or something like that. But yeah, it's supposed to be fun. It's a big, nice, long event. It's an excuse to give away prizes, which are mostly coming from a combination of my own pocket and people that have been kind enough to donate to DDOCast over time. So if you like seeing stuff like this, please feel free to go over to our Patreon page for DDOCast to pitch in a buck or two or something like that, or our website, DDOcast.com. I only say that because that's how I get to do stuff like this and put up these cool prizes, is because people have donated money to the show to do stuff like this. So don't feel obligated in any way, shape, or form.
All right. And anything else you wish to add before we go on?
About the scavenger hunt? I don't think so. Just enjoy it. Have fun. If there's a question about what you think you should take a picture of, feel free to send it to me. I would say if you're going to play, make the pictures as clearly fitting the prompt as possible. I've seen a few pictures where they're trying to show me somebody or something, but there's no actual name in the picture of that person. So if it's not objectively really clear, then you're relying on my judgment. And if you ask all of the teams that I umpire baseball for over the season, my judgment is suspect, according to them.
So, amazing.
Yeah, it's not shocking, right? But so if you don't want to rely on my judgment, and I do try to be fair, it's best if you make it really clear what you're showing me. So if you're trying to show me a picture of a completed puzzle, it helps if you show the puzzle. Maybe you want to take more than one picture, and that's fine. If you're trying to show me a picture of somebody, if the name is in it, that's helpful. Showing me a picture of a random player that it doesn't show their name or their guild, and trying to tell me that's a level 200 guild, a player in a level 200 guild, I'm not going to count that because I have no way of verifying that. So, but have fun. That's the whole point, and good luck.
All right. And what's happening in DDOcast?
So this next weekend we're doing a show with Saba Jade. That's going to be on spreadsheets and notes. I haven't exactly figured out how to title it, but we're basically going to be talking about taking notes and what we take notes on and how to take notes and what kind of things maybe you should take notes on, that kind of thing. There was no show this last weekend. The 1 week before that, we did a show with Lessa and Mithri, the other part of the Damsels of DDO. We talked about avoiding the grind, which was mostly us talking about things we do to make DDO more fun by not doing DDO all of the time. So
it was a really good episode too. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was a little more off topic than we usually get. We talked about TV, which is more of a damsels thing, which is why I had the damsels on. Yeah, so it was a good show. So the week next week, we're planning on doing a show with Ask the Devs. We'll have the devs on the show and kind of get to ask them a little bit about Update 36, maybe a little bit about Ravenloft, what's kind of coming up, how the whole transition to Standing Stone Games is faring, maybe. Still got to kind of put some touches and planning on that, but that's kind of where we're going with that. And then probably the week after that, this is way more tentative than the Ask the Devs thing, looking at doing a debate episode on Endgame and where it's at. There's kind of a lot of opinions about where things like that, particularly like staying at level 30. I know a question I've seen a lot of people asking and wondering and commenting about is, did Reaper mode kill staying in cap? That kind of a thing. So that's kind of where the show's going in the immediate future.
All right, then let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. And we actually have news from this section. And we'll begin with Gen Con, and I heard that Gen Con 50 is doing well in their sales of 4-day badges.
Oh, yeah, not just 4-day badges, as it turns out. We kind of talked about this last week, where Gen Con did say badges are going to be capped this year for the first time ever. They've never capped badge sales. 4-day badge sales have actually capped out, so they have sold out. So you can't buy a 4-day badge anymore. You can still get a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or Sunday Family Fun Day badge. Friday and Saturday badges are going to sell out quickly, they said. Sales are just crazy. So there is going to be so many people at Gen Con. I can't even imagine.
Do you know why they're actually capping it this year? Like, were sales just that much more numerous because it's Gen Con 50 and it's a really nice, cool number? Or is this something that's kind of been coming to a head for a while?
Well, it's kind of a little of both. They have kind of talked about that they are probably going to start capping badges just because there's so many people and it's just like Gen Con grows and grows every year. And it's like, Indy can only hold so many people in the surrounding area that, Gen Con takes over. But I think this year it's just because it's Gen Con 50. It's crazy. Everybody wants to go to Gen Con 50. And it's like I said, it's crazy. And another thing they're doing this year for the first time ever is you cannot actually buy badges on site this year. So you have to pre-order your badge beforehand.
Well, that makes sense if you're going to cap it.
Right, exactly. So even if they have, let's say they have a couple Thursday badges left, you're out of luck. You can't go, to Gen Con and buy it, which is another first. So yeah, it's just crazy.
Well,
It's just, I cannot imagine the amount of people that are going to be there.
I suspect they didn't want people arriving hoping to buy a badge on site and then finding out that the person before them bought the last one. So they just decided
well, yeah.
not to have it at all.
Yeah, so it's, and it's my friends and I that go every year to this. For the past probably 4 years, we have talked and commented to each other that they really have to start capping badges because it's just insane at how much it's growing. And at this point, it is almost bigger than what Indy can handle, I think. There's a serious lack of hotel rooms is the big thing. And they're even running out of space to put games. Like, this year they have opened up Lucas Oil Stadium where you actually get to play games on the football field because they ran out of convention room and they ran out of hotel rooms for games even. So it's just crazy.
Oh, there's one thing that could have made the whole thing even worse.
And what is that? I can't think of anything right now, but what's that?
Could you imagine how bad it would have been if the eclipse was going to pass over Indianapolis instead of the south of it?
Oh, God, don't even say that.
Could you imagine the day? It's like, oh, yeah, we're fish on Gen Con, then the day afterwards you got a total eclipse. That
oh, dear Lord, that is a nightmare waiting to happen right there.
Yeah, well, fortunately, Indianapolis is not in the main eclipse path, so that isn't a problem.
But yeah, so if you want Gen Con tickets, you might want to head over to GenCon.com and see what days they have left, because they just sent me an email today that said Friday and Saturday badges are quickly going and are going to sell out soon. So you've been warned.
I'm actually more surprised they haven't had that problem in the past, because as someone who works in and around that kind of an industry of like the tech side of things, like if you go to a convention and look up and see all the truss in the air and all the lights and stuff like that, like that's part of what I do. And we're just kind of working in the event industry in general. It's a little scary having not a cap on the number of bodies when you're talking about a space, just from a lot of standpoints of like fire code and.
That brings up a good point. I wonder too how much of this is not maybe the Indianapolis Fire Marshal saying, "Hey guys, we can only hold so many people in this convention center. Come on now." But yeah, it's going to be insane.
Well, this was maybe 2 years ago. I read an article. It was about a convention center or a convention that had a fire alarm go off during the convention.
Happened
and had to evacuate the floor.
Happened at Gen Con 2 years ago.
Oh, did it? It wasn't
Yeah.
Gen Con, the one the one that was, because this was in, I want to say it was in New York or Boston, but it talked about, the article's point was to talk about if as a rental venue, have a plan for these kind of things and stuff like that. But I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's just there's so many problems that come with that. Like, one, get everyone out. Two, like the vendors don't want to leave because they don't want to leave their stuff just sitting there. So having more people than you can like safely have in capacity is a problem.
Yes. So let's head into D&D Icons of the Realms Classic Creatures, a box set. And when you say classic creatures, what are you talking about? Things like owlbears?
I'm talking about owlbears. We're talking about some trolls, some ogres, and of course, the Demigorgon.
Ooh.
Yeah, WizKids, they are really, really jumping into the miniatures market. Of course, these are all the pre-painted minis. I know some people dislike that because they're already pre-painted, and a lot of people like to paint minis, and God bless you for that. I don't have the patience to do that. But they're going back to the roots in this one. They're calling this the D&D Icons of the Realms Classic Creatures set. And it is an assortment of monsters from the very early days of D&D. You're going to get 9 different creatures, and this is going to be all appearing in the first edition monster manual. And as I said, the traditional foes such as ogres and orcs, an orc archer, and a troll, and of course you have the purple worm and the Demigorgon. And the set is designed to be visually displayed. So the way the box is going to work, you can actually see the minis in the box. So I know a lot of people will probably buy these just to display on a shelf. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $79.99 for those. And as an added bonus for those who order early, you can get in on a special gift. You will also get a bonus Demigorgon that is going to be 2 inches tall. And that's only available while supplies last, so you might want to hurry and pre-order that if you want to get the extra Demigorgon. And the Demigorgon that comes in the set, they said, is about 4 inches tall.
So therefore you get a half size, so a Demigorgon.
Sure, why not? So yeah, check it out. Pre-orders will be available soon. This is set to release late November. So if you're into minis, or if you just want a piece of some classic D&D, you can get it with the Icons of the Realms Classic Creatures box set coming from WizKids.
Very well. Then that's how you could go and get your classic D&D group. But what about a trip instead to Middle-earth and around the areas of a certain rather big river?
Yes, a very, very big river. Cubicle 7 is out with a new source book for the Adventures in Middle-earth. If you're not familiar with that, that is basically rules to bring Tolkien into your D&D. So they're mixing Tolkien all up into your D&D. And you can just D&D inside of Middle-earth if you want. And this is going to let you follow the Anduin River down to the Misty Mountains. It's the Adventures in Middle-earth Rovanian Region Guide. Everything you need to know about bringing your adventures into Rovanian. The PDF is available now over at Drive-Thru RPG. The printed hardcover book will be out later this year. We, of course, will let you know when it is available for sure. But I know a lot of people are really getting into the Adventures in Middle-earth, and they are bringing all these source books out. So if you're a Tolkien fan and a D&D fan, this is for you.
So therefore,
I think there's a really important question we got to ask with that. Are they called hobbits or halflings?
They're hobbits.
Okay.
Because they have the rights to them.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't use the word, they'd have trouble using the word Middle-earth if they couldn't use hobbits.
Well, I mean, you're talking about bringing Lord of the Rings into your D&D game, so we just got to make sure we got our clarification of terms here.
Okay, I guess you got a point with that.
Not like the first edition of D&D when they were originally called hobbits, and then Tolkien Estate said, nope, not going to be doing that.
Yeah, as my very first copy of D&D, actually that was not the first edition, that was the original edition that had that.
Oh, it was okay. I do remember
that was
one
before. They had to change it through one of the later print runs where they had to change the word Balrog and the word Hobbit in one of the later print runs of the original edition.
Tolkien Estates laying the smackdown even back in the early days.
Oh, yes. Then let's head into our week in gaming, because apparently the screen and the tabletop were asleep.
Everything was asleep this week, I'm telling you. There's just like nothing going on anywhere. And there was nothing going on in my week in gaming either. I had like real life issues, just lots of real life issues. And that put a damper in the old gaming this week. The only thing I actually did is when I played with you last Wednesday. So I'll let you talk about that. So yeah, there's my week. Absolutely nothing.
Yes, I'll go into my week then. And with Drac, we went to our monks, no Morlock, and monk and Drac on his rogue. We went to the Inspired Quarter, the Dreaming Dark, to finish up the Inspired Corner. And then we went into the harbor and ran Good Intentions.
And okay, this was the first time I have ever ran the Dreaming Dark. What kind of monster created that thing? That was just evil. I enjoyed the quest, but that jumping part at the first part of that was just deeply evil. Fun quest, though. I liked it.
Wait, which quest?
Dreaming Dark.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Oh, yeah. I tried to purge that jumping puzzle out of my mind, but yes, yeah. It was not a fun.
Poor Pine Leaf. I really need to start like twitching when Pine Leaf and I play, because there are sometimes Pine Leaf just gets so into it and so frustrated. It's so funny to hear his reaction, like when we're almost at the end and then he falls. Yeah! It's really kind of funny, so I really need to start twitching our Wednesday nights, because I think people would enjoy.
You could always just record it and then post it later if it works out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about doing that, but yeah, I could do that too. I really do need to start doing that, because it's quite entertaining. I think so. I enjoy it when I'm playing. I think other people would too.
I didn't have anything else that I did in DDO, because doing things like testing a certain Lotro expansion, doing some stuff with Mordor and other things. But on tabletop,
Hold on. Before you go to tabletop,
yeah,
the most important question.
Yeah.
Did you walk into Mordor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, the quest that sent you in there says, because right now, since it's testing stuff, they don't have everything all set up, and because they're not doing the epic, and the epic is where they open up Mordor. So therefore, they had this quest called "One Does Not Simply," as they say, "One does not simply walk into Mordor until you talk to Boromir and unlock it." Okay. And of course, the whole joke is, Boromir is long dead anyway. So therefore,
that's awesome. Okay, the devs have a sense of humor. That's
awesome. They definitely had a sense of humor in there.
You doubted that the devs had a sense of humor?
Oh,
Have
no.
you played DDO?
Yeah, I gotta say, oh, no, I knew that just because there's several little tongue-in-cheek things in DDO, but that's just awesome. They called it one, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they called the temporary quest "One Does Not Simply." and then, of course, the entire joke was to put Boromir as the quest giver
exactly.
in that case. And so despite this, now, you got to remember, though, is that the Mordor expansion does take place after a certain piece of jewelry is lost. So, therefore, after that point, it might be possible to walk into Mordor, though it's still not a safe place to travel. You learn that pretty quickly.
Well, it is Mordor, after all.
Yeah, it is Mordor. And then in tabletop games, I was doing a little bit more with Lord of the Rings card game, and one of the scenarios I ran was for the Paths of the Dead, and that one was a really close one. I was getting really close. I think I have a chance of winning this. Then, of course, it comes and go whack. Just on the next to the last turn, based on my calculations, I got slapped in the face, and, well, that was it. But it was really close. It really looked like that there was a chance it could go either way, all the way up to the end. And I also finally had a chance to play Role Player. I played a few rounds of that, seeing how well I could do in creating a character for the sake of creating a character.
And that's the dice game where you build your character with dice, correct?
Right.
Okay, I thought that was the game.
And then in Minecraft, I started a new Minecraft series. In my multiplayer world, which I call Willstopia, we started up a new season to that. And this season, we've got a lot more players than last season. So right now, I'm just trying to get acclimated, and hopefully I'm going to be able to find myself a nice place in order to call my base and all that stuff, but I haven't managed to do that. So that's my week. So, Patrick, what were you up to?
I actually got to play a little bit this week because I had a weekend. And
at least
awesome.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had many weekends since April, so. Let's see, what have I done? I'm working on what is ostensibly my fighter, although he's doing some racial lives right now. Although very slowly, despite the fact that he's been using a couple stones that I had, or autos boxes. But so right now he's around level 6 or 7. I'm trying Ranger this life to see if I like it for leveling better than I do for Warlock, with mixed success. He does more damage per shot, but the rate of fire is slower. The paralyzing arrows are nice. So still kind of on the fence if it's a win or not. But so doing that. Have my pen and paper game that I've been doing D&D for, which we're playing again this week. Which has kind of been fun because there's a lot of people who haven't played before, and I'm pretty much. So I know, like Drac, you kind of try to kill the party. Like I am actively trying to kill the party more than you are. You generally do.
Wow, really?
Well, so I'm working with this. This is something that I picked up. I think the game was Phoenix or something like that. I think it was from Keith Baker. But I have this concept that I'm going with where when the players die, they come back to life with a new ability.
Okay, that is Phoenix. I think Ashes Reborn or something is the name of it. I think, yeah.
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 I was kind of hiking a cocktail hour show with him on, and he was talking about it, I think. But yeah, so I am actually kind of like trying to get people killed more so than I usually, because usually I don't like killing players because I don't want them to have to roll a new character, because that can be really painful if you're not prepared for it, particularly if you're a new player and you're attached. But it's going really well. Also doing on tabletop. And then I got talked into trying a new game called 7 Days to Die. I don't know if you've played it.
No, never heard of that.
Yeah.
Please tell me about the 7 Days to Die game. So can I guess who talked you into playing it?
You could probably get it in 3.
So you on our server? Because I haven't been on this week.
Yes.
Awesome. Sweet.
Although mostly what I've done so far is wander aimlessly around for about 40 minutes trying to figure out how to play the game. Spent about 2 hours trying to log into the game. And wandered around a little bit and was gifted a great many things on the server and given a chore of chopping wood at some point.
Yes,
so
you always need more wood.
Better than needing more sheep, I suppose. But, wood's a little more useful. But yeah, so I've managed not to die yet, which I think is something of a win. Although I haven't run into anything more than vultures.
Oh, those vultures suck. Oh, I hate those vultures.
I killed 2 of them.
Vampiric vultures?
Oh, God, don't give them any ideas to make them like vampire vultures. The undead zombie vultures are already worse enough. Don't turn them into vampire. But that would be awesome, though.
They're not so bad.
But, if you kill them, though, sometimes there's like a bug in this build, though. Sometimes they'll like fall through the world, and you like can't loot them, and they give you so many feathers when you kill them. So it makes me so mad when they fall through the world.
I did have an issue where I almost killed myself because I jumped onto what I thought were flowers and then found out afterwards that they were wooden spikes.
Oh, ouch.
That hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Can't believe they got another person to play that. It's fun, though. It really is.
I don't know.
Pine Leaf, you're next.
I don't think so.
What, the whole zombie thing kind of...
The zombie thing isn't exactly going to attract me, and the name of the game sounds like something that involves a lot of dying.
Well, it definitely does, especially every 7th day.
Yeah, so therefore, I have a feeling it's not going to be on my top list to play, especially with how many other games I've already got. So, anything else, Patrick?
No, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
All right. Then we currently have 22 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance, @PlayersAlly, DDO Players, @DDO Players, Draculetta, @Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf, @PineleafNews. And where can you follow our guest, Patrick?
At DDOCast on Twitter. You should also check out DDOcast.com for shows, swag, lots of fun stuff.
All right, the Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News on the first and third Fridays at 11:59 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have XP Quest on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have a Lotro Academy After School, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is it for tonight, and this is Funny Noodles reminding you to quest responsibly.